I like the fact that you talk about PDP pulling the strings at the center there, because I've seen a lot of people now say that since the APC got into power in the center, most, if not all, of the major tribunals have been ruling in favor of the APC. Do you think that's a trend that's probably fueled by the fact that, okay, the center is a certain way, let's align or please them? Because I'm not trying to indict the judiciary here in any way, but people have pointed out the fact that all of a sudden, all of the cases seem to be falling on the laps of the APC.
No, not all of the cases. Delta did not fall in the laps of the APC, and I think Akwa Ibom hasn't been decided, but there was another state that didn't fall. But there's always going to be that factor of whether the president or the federal government is interfering with the judicial process. We're still going to continue having that process, but I don't think that is a factor right now in the tribunal here. I mean, judge verdicts we've seen so far. I don't think, I would like to be proven wrong, but I don't think that the federal government is interfering in judicial processes at this time.
But my point wasn't necessarily about them interfering directly. I mean, sometimes there's
body language.
Body language. We know what, when the Lagos State governorship election was happening, there was this talk about, well, let's align with the center. Sometimes it's just mental. You know, the judiciary or whoever is even making these rulings or whatever it is. Okay, let's, you know, I mean, whoever pays the piper. I'm not trying to indict anybody here again. I'm trying to be careful.
The judicial arm of government is the separation of powers. It's a completely different arm of government.
So you think that argument doesn't hold any water?
I don't think it holds water. I don't think, but it's a Nigerian thing to think that, I mean, there's always interference, but I don't want to believe that is happening.
What does this then say about the INEC as well? Because, I mean, Professor Tahiru Jega, the former chairman of the INEC, was given a lot of, he was praised a lot, you know, with the last elections. A lot of the decisions are starting to show that there were a lot of issues around the country, and it's not restricted to, there's been issues in the south, in the north, in the middle belt, you know. What does this say about INEC and what we actually thought happened in the last elections?
I think what it says about INEC is it has to do with the fact that the permanent voters cards is still evolving. It's still an evolving process, and I think the card reader and the PVCs and all of that will made it very doubly difficult sometimes. I mean, when you work with technology, you expect hiccups. I don't think Nigeria has reached that point where we'll depend wholesale on technology in our electoral processes. So I think that's part of the challenge where you see the fact that some of the cases being overturned and all of that. The application of the PVCs, the electoral guidelines, the Electoral Act and all of that. The fact that the PVC isn't, or as lawyers would love to say, it isn't even in the Electoral Act or whatever it is. So I think trying to bring technology into our electoral process is the reason why we are having some of the difficulties, why we had some challenges in the last elections, and we'll continue to see that for a while until.
You think it's going to be better without the technology? I'm trying to understand what you're saying now.
No. What I'm trying to say is that it will take some time for us to come to grasp with technology, but when we do, our electoral system will be near perfect or to a certain.
So, are you
standard.
happy with Kogi? With the electoral process now, besides the issues that turned out eventually?
Yeah, from the reports.
From what you heard?
Yeah, from the reports we heard, I want to think that it was a relatively free and fair process, and the margin of victory wasn't that much between the two candidates. I mean, if you look at the fact that it wasn't up to 50,000 votes or thereabout, I think kudos to INEC for the Kogi elections. So
we still saw images on social media of, you know, inducement on election day and all of that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's INEC's duty, but that's still happening.
Yeah. That's
and Bayelsa is around the corner.
Yeah, that still happens, and it says a lot about our electoral process and the political parties, and I mean, people will work closely with the elections when we still have voters being induced. I think it's a sad commentary on the electoral process.
I mean, while on the queue.
Yeah, I think it's a sad commentary on our elections that at this point of our democracy, we may be pretty young, but at this point of our democracy, we shouldn't be seeing voters getting paid to vote. I mean, those kind of footages speak badly of our country, and people who do that should be arrested or something, or prosecuted, because it's wrong.
I talked about Bayelsa, and I just want to lead into that because I saw a debate that held as well with the four main candidates, I think, in the state. Of course, the two major ones from the APC and PDP were there, and they shook hands and all of that, and it was nice to see that gesture by them. But it's also one state that's become very interesting. A lot of decampings have happened across board, people moving from one party to the other, from the PDP to the APC and vice versa. You know, we don't know I mean, this person in power right now, of course, is from the PDP, but the APC is in the center, so there's that factor as well. And the APC candidate is the former governor, almost playing out what's happened in Kogi as well. What are your expectations in Bayelsa?
I expect to see a very interesting, a close contest as well. I don't want to, like, I don't have a crystal ball, nobody does, but I expect a close race, and I want to believe that the people of Bayelsa will make the right choice.
Yeah, I think that's the debate.
And elect their governor, the governor they want. So I would like to appeal to Bayelsa indigenous at this point to make the right decisions for themselves. And like you said, some of these inducements we saw in Kogi, we shouldn't see that, and the Electoral Commission should make sure that things like this do not recur in.
How much of a factor do you think former President Jonathan will be in this election?
That's a tough one, but he's a factor. He's loved by his people, and he still has some goodwill. I mean, for making that historic phone call that considered defeat to Buhari, and I think getting on the storm ground with Dixon yesterday, or as he has done in the past, it's a very good thing, and that's some good moral support. I think it's good for the Dixon campaign that Jonathan is getting on the storm ground and campaigning for him.
Yeah. On the final note now, let's talk about the Senate. They did give the Minister of Petroleum a 2-week ultimatum to end
Which of the ministers?
The fuel scarcity. I mean, we all know the Minister of Petroleum is President Buhari. So basically, they're giving the president an ultimatum. And that was very interesting. I mean, he's the president, but he's decided to keep that portfolio to himself. So how do we separate these roles? Now, that's what it brings up for a lot of people. Does he get summoned?
He asked for it. I mean, he asked for it. He kept the portfolio for himself. And when we're having challenges in the country, when we do not have petrol, I mean, we go to the petroleum minister. And so if he's summoned,
so if the Minister of Petroleum is summoned, is it right for him to send the Minister of State if we want to see the Minister of Petroleum?
No, but if the Senate insists that it has to be the Minister of Petroleum, we want to see the Minister of Petroleum. And the Minister of Petroleum at this point is President Muhammadu Buhari, and he has to. I mean, he cannot say. I mean,
but he's the president as well. So how do you draw that line between dragging your president all over the place?
Oh, the president is the petroleum minister. He asked for it. So if he's someone, he should. Except that sometimes he has official functions that will conflict with the someone and all of that. Then probably he can send the Minister of State for Petroleum. But if he's available and the Senate wants to see him, he should go and testify and tell Nigerians why we are waiting on queues and why we do not have petrol.
Very important, because I mean the queues keep going back and forth. I thought they were cleared yesterday. Today I came out again and there's queues all over the place. I'm not sure.
And the funny thing is that they are not selling in jerry cans. For a country,
the most important
for a country that runs on generators, and you go to a filling station and they tell you they are not selling. So how do you want people to power their homes? You know, I bought in my car yesterday, but I couldn't buy in the kegs, and I haven't been able to power my.
Maybe you sleep in your cars.
Maybe we'll consider that. You know, so these are some of the issues we have. Which I mean, I was listening to someone from the PPMC yesterday say they won't be selling jerry cans, but it doesn't make sense because I mean this is a country powered basically on generators. So. Yeah. I mean, when you make rulings like that, it's
a thin line between trying to avoid selling to black marketers and then making Nigerians suffer. But at the same time, the black marketers are still getting the fuel anyways.
Exactly. You know, so I envisage a situation. I think that at this point we shouldn't be having queues in our country. And it's quite sad what we're passing through at this time. I mean, a lot of Nigerians have every right to be angry because this isn't the change that they voted for.
Yeah. Well, I just want fuel. So, I don't know, Mr. President. Hopefully the ultimatum shakes you up a bit to act and make sure that things work out. Thank you very much, Jude Egbas. Thanks for being here today. Hopefully
thank you.
When next year here, we're talking about more interesting and happier things.
Nice to have been here.
When we come back, we'll be talking about some interesting technology. You want to stick around for that.